my cutting table today is the cutest bib, and it is called the Houdini Bib. It is a peekaboo pattern shop pattern. It's only $5. It's the cutest little bib, crisscrosses in the back, so it says strap down and they cannot get it up to their face. This bib does come in 3 different sizes. I'm making the baby size. It's for a 4 to 12 month old, and it's a 7-inch long bib. There's a toddler size that's for a 12 to 36 month old. It's an 8-inch long bib. And there's also a preschool size for a 3 to a 5-year-old, and it's a 9.5-inch bib. I made a bib to begin with because I was holding a friend's baby, and she was just drooling like crazy, and she had one of those little bitty tiny bibs, and she had it all wadded up in her face, and it was a mess. And I thought, I'm gonna make her some bibs. I think it would be fun to just experiment, use some of my leftover fabric, and just ask her mom to try them out and see what works, what doesn't. So we experimented a little bit. We made some cute knit ones just out of leftover shirt material that I had made for myself. We did knit. I had flannel. We did flannel and flannel. We had some that were just cotton and flannel on the back. And so I had her kind of try some out, and she said the ones that were a little bit more absorbent were better because some of them just got so wet. But you also don't want the baby to get hot. I am expecting a grandbaby who will arrive any day now, so I thought I would make a few for my daughter, well, for my grandson. But it hit me the other day, maybe a towel on the back would be good. So I pulled out an old towel that I had, and I found a adorable little baby fabric, just cotton, and I'm going to try a cotton and a towel. I also went and got some more flannel to do another one. And while I was there at Michael's, they had terry cloth, and I was like, well, that would be awesome. So I got some of that as well. So I'm just going to do a few for you and show you how I make them, because these would be great gifts, a great little idea if you wanted to make some for craft fair. I mean, you could make different holiday ones, cute little patterns. I mean, yeah, the ideas are just endless. It's such a cute pattern. You are going to need snaps. And I found some fun little plastic snaps that got great reviews. So I will link that Amazon link in the description. It comes with the tools as well. You know, if you're just going to make a one bib, you might not want to buy snaps. But if you think you might be making several, it is worth the purchase for those. And you never know, you might make a whole lot of them. So let's get started today. Our bib pattern has a basic bib that you can do that would just snap at the neck like regular, or it has the Houdini piece and a Houdini strap piece. That's the one that we're going to be doing. This pattern is made to be cut on the fold, but because towel is a little bit thicker, I didn't feel like if I cut it on the fold that I would be able to cut it correctly. So what I did was I drew around this side, flipped it over, drew around that side. This one is a French terry, and these two are both flannel. I've already sewed the straps on, ironed them flat. I serged the flannel ones, but I just pinking sheared and opened flat the French terry cloth because it's a little too thick to serge it and then be able to sew over it. If you forgot, do it now and transfer your snap holes. Only need to do that to the back because you're going to be punching a hole in it anyway, so you don't really need to mark the front. you can just mark the back pieces. It'll be just fine. We are going to do this cute little rabbit with the French terry. Just cotton little stripe with the flannel, a cute plaid flannel and flannel. All right, let's get these bibs made right now. My straps are stitched on. The seam allowance is ironed flat, and I have clipped my right sides together. It may seem like an overabundance of clips, but when you go around these curves in the neck and stuff, it does help to have it just really clipped in so that it doesn't wiggle on you. You could also put some pins in, or, just to kind of hold it together. That'll keep the fabric from moving around as you're going around all those curves. You do have to leave a place to turn it. I personally like to pick the flattest part of the side. So I'm going to make a mark here and a mark here. And so I'm going to start at one and end at the other. And I always like to mark my non-stitch spots with something different, either 2 pins, 2 clips, a different clip, something like that, just to remind me that something is going on here. If you are cutting out knit or even like the French terry, you need to make sure your grain line is going this way and your grain line is going this way. And that will help it not stretch. The French terry stretches a lot, and I had not paid attention to the grain line when I first cut it out. I have done it with knit before. I've done this bib and had not had an issue, and I don't really remember cutting it on the grain line or not cutting it on the grain line, although I could have. It's been a while. I could not get it stitched in correctly, so I had to go back and recut my pieces. If you cut your fabric out with pinking shears, it's fine. If you didn't, I suggest that you at least pinking shear this little opening part before you serge, if you're going to finish yours, because you aren't going to be able to serge that right there, and there's no way to finish it very easily, and that makes it easier. And so it does, that just makes it so it doesn't ravel right there. I don't like the ravel. It stresses me out. All right, there we go. And I'm going to serge, but leave those openings. Corners are clipped, serged all the way around. Now it's time to turn them. All turned. And now let's see what magic we can do with the iron. Until you start sewing, you do not realize what magical powers your iron has. Oh, it looks so much better now. Now right here was my opening, and I ironed both sides in. And I'm just going to put a little clip there. Hold it down for a minute. I'm going to top stitch all the way around. That's what it's going to take to close this anyway. And this will keep my top and bottom flat and not all wiggly when it gets washed. Bib is all top stitched. I have done where I did like a cute little stitch all the way around. This one I just did a straight stitch Just depends on what you want it to look like. And remember, it's going to be on a body, so it is not going to be a flat bib. So if it looks a little weird, that's why. And then it's going to look like this when we're done with the snaps. They're going to snap underneath like this. So my friend, she flipped it when I did it two-sided with two cute fabric. She was like, oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care that it's like this. But that was when both sides were cute fabric. I do want to go back, look, make sure my snaps are pretty much still in the center-ish and about the same spaced apart. Make any adjustments that you need to. Need to make sure that these are across from each other and also about the same depth in. So adjust anything that you need to adjust, and then you're going to follow the directions for your snaps. I have to really think about this every time, but I want this part of the snap to be on this side, and then this part will be on the back side back there. But on the front of the bib right here, the flat part is going to be on the front, and this little part is going to be on the back. Here is a little tip as you are putting the snaps together. When you put that little tip through, make sure you push your fabric all the way down. It needs to be kind of stuck in there. That way this little piece can push in there easier. And then make sure it's really lined up in that little cup part. And squeeze as hard as you can. And that'll make it tighter. But always practice. I usually snap them a couple of times as I'm going through them, just to make sure if one pops off, then you have that little screwdriver that came with your kit, and you can kind of wedge that between the pieces and they'll pull together. And you can do it again. Sometimes that second one will hold better than the first one did because your hole is bigger if you didn't get it pushed down real good. And it's a little tip for the snaps. Okay, let's try it out and see how it works. Like to hear that little snap. If you don't, that means one of your pieces did not get in there good. There we go. Another cute little bib. But you want to make sure that your towel, if you use a towel, is not too thick, or you're going to need snaps that have a longer little piece like this if your towel is thick. Plus, you don't want the baby to get too hot either. So just be careful with whatever fabrics you pick. There's that one. So cute. Little plaid one. And he's gonna look so handsome in that. This one. So fun. My favorite is the flannel on flannel. It's absorbent, not too hot, easy to sew. The just regular woven on the flannel is also nice, just 100% cotton. Those both stitch up the easiest. The French terry knit was a little bit more difficult because it stretched, but I have done cute ones with knit before and not had that same issue. So it does help if you've got knit to cut it correctly, just like I showed you in this little one. It's just fun to try. I hope you have fun making some cute little Houdini bibs for someone special in your life, or a baby shower gift. If you have a drooly baby grandchild of your own that this little pattern helped you out, I will link it in the description. $5 pattern, can't beat it. You could always stitch on your own snaps if you didn't want to purchase the whole snap to do. Practice, find what works best for you, and I'll see you again for another sew.